He is Colonel Manobendra Roy, whom we met during our East European trip. We were so proud to have an army personnel amongst us. Colonel Manobendra Roy is an ex-NDA at Kadakwasala, Pune, where he underwent 3 years training and another 1 year at IMA Dehradun. He was commissioned as the second lieutenant first in 1978 and then he retired at the age of 54. What he told us was retiring in the army is a combination of age and rank. For example, a colonel retires at the age of 54 and brigadier at the age of 56, etc. And his rank is just below the brigadier. He was a colonel. The primary mission of our Indian Army is to ensure national security, to defend the nation from external aggression and also the internal threats, and to maintain peace and security within the border. Our soldiers sacrifice their life so that we can live in peace in our homes. So, I requested Colonel Manobendra Roy to share his experiences in the battlefield. He had served during the time of Kargil operations also, he told us. So now we welcome Colonel Manobendra Roy to share his experience in the battlefield with a salute to him. We welcome you, sir, and thank you so much for sharing your experiences with our viewers.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Colonel Manobendra Roy here. Was with you all during our recently concluded East Europe trip. I will narrate one incident that occurred during our stay at Nocera sector on the line of control. This was during early 90s when insurgency had violently erupted in Kashmir and mass exodus of Kashmiri Pandits had I was started. Then at Nocera as a company commander. My battalion had a huge frontage of 18 kilometers to guard. One day it started raining very heavily, and I was to move out with 4 armed men for patrolling for 72 hours with weapons, ammunition, and packed food. My commanding officers spoke to me on the field phone and suggested that I postpone my patrolling by 1 day due to inclement weather. I told him, no, it's quite okay to go during inclement weather because that is the time when operations are most successful. He just laughed and said, okay, fine. Anyway, I mustered my personal weapons. My armed men checked their weapons and ammunition and food packets too, and moved out for patrolling at around 2300 hours. We were on the hillside and started moving down so as to go closer to the LOC. Ahead of us there was a U-shaped nala, and notionally 50% of it is supposed to be with us and the balance with POK, Pak Occupied Kashmir. The flowing water The flowing rainwater had made the hilly areas very slippery, and we were wary of it and tried to be careful whenever we put our foot forward, because torches cannot be lighted, because we would then become easy targets for our enemies. Unfortunately, I slipped. Don't know how it happened, but I slipped and started rolling down the hill and landed straight into the Yunala. Was extremely lucky. There was no patrolling or ambush parties of the Pakistanis present at that time. Just across the LOC, some 25 meters away from the Yunala where I landed. I was in pain, no doubt, but checked that all four limbs were intact and moving. I started silently observing what lay ahead. Saw nobody across the POK, and none of the villages had come out too. The sound of the inclement weather and rains muffled the noises of my rolling down, I suppose. So I laid down in the water, silently and intently observing what lay ahead. My brave boys, the charts, didn't let me down, and two of them silently crept up to me on their elbows, and the balance two stayed behind a rock nearby with their rifles outstretched for protection if need be. The boys whispered and told me they will pull me out and drag me while lying on the ground to safety. I whispered to both and told them not to worry, as I have not broken any limbs. All three of us then slowly crawled back to safety, with my two boys shielding me with their bodies from possible enemy fire. God bless my Jat troops who hailed from Haryana state. Maybe they are a rustic lot, and it takes a considerable time, especially for the good manners South Indians to get used to. On the LOC, we never allow our villagers and keep them a few kilometers behind, but not the Pakistanis. They would allow their villagers to till land and build houses right up to the LOC. The logic behind it is that we Indians will never fire on the civilians, and they would use the civilians. They would also use the civilians to shield them from our observation.
And now our colonel stops it here at a suspense point. So please wait for the next video to know what happened finally and how he was able to achieve his target. Thank you so much, sir. I know it is very easy to sit at home and hear and then comment, but actually to be in the battlefield and then to face the enemies is something very different. And hats off to you, sir, for having served the nation for our welfare. And we'll be waiting for your second audio. Thank you for watching. Kindly send your comments also to salute the brave soldier.